Hi, this is Allison. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing a podcast that I just heard, and it is about communication and being a confident communicator. It's by Jay Sheddy, and he's interviewing Vin Guyang, and it's called On Purpose with Jay Sheddy. And I thought it was really appropriate because being a new YouTube channel and content creator, there's many of us that are constantly trying to figure out the new things, how to get subscribers, how to keep subscribers, how to engage with subscribers, and I think just trying to find your niche. And I haven't really found my niche, but I want to find my way. And this podcast was really, really helpful. And I didn't even finish listening to it yet because there was so much information, and I want you guys to go and listen to it because I think it's going to help so many people. But there's basically, they were talking about that there's stages of communication, and you pretty much go from an unconscious incompetence to an unconscious competence, meaning you unconsciously talk and you don't really have a plan, to where you consciously become competent. And they made a reference to driving, where you didn't know how to drive, and you had to learn the rules of the road. You were very conscious about everything you did. And now, being in my 50s, and I don't think about getting in the car, and I've got to put on my seatbelt, and I've got to look behind me, and I've got to do this and this. It's just unconscious. So I have an unconscious competence about driving right now. And that's what they were talking about, is becoming unconsciously competent about your speaking engagements. Your interactions with others give you the ability to find your voice and become confident communicators. They were speaking that really our form of communication is a learned thing. It's not something that we're meek or we're loud. It's something that we've watched others. My father was quiet, or my mother was quiet, and you just learned that being quiet was the way to go. Or they were loud, and your family was loud, and you're loud, and you're boisterous, but you can retrain your brain to fit the occasion. What we do in life has an impact on what has affected us in life. So things that we've done in our life, the way we grew up, it's had an impact and it's affected us. A good communicator is a series of behaviors to practice because it becomes our identity. We have to learn our communications from watching those around us. So you look at somebody and you're like, wow, they really... I think when I was listening to this, a stand-up comedian, I had that on my bucket list. It's still on my bucket list to do stand-up, a comic show at some point in my life. But that's something that's learned. People can be funny, but the delivery of it is something that's kind of learned. Not everybody can go up and just do stand-up comedian show, and so you learn it. Mastery is the unconscious competency, and it's learned depending on the wise communication. You're attached to present, when we are present, and we won't change unless we make that decision that we need to change something. If you're in business meetings and you're always getting talked over, you realize that now it's time to make a change. And if you become aware, then that's the first step. And this person was saying he coaches people on how to communicate better. And I really liked, this is what I'm going to end up doing with this video. It depends how many takes it takes me to do. But he said to video yourself, and then the next day, watch the video without sound. And the day after that, listen to the video without watching it, so you can hear your voice, and then put it together and watch it again. And do that a few times so that you can hear how you communicate to your audience. And it's cringeworthy. I already feel it's cringeworthy because I feel like I'm stumbling over everything because there's so much I want to tell you, and I want to do it in an organized fashion. And it's hard for me to remember things, so I've taken notes, and I'm trying not to look at my notes so I can communicate to you what I want to say, but I don't want it to come out so you don't understand it. What you say and how you say it, which is more important? That's what we ask ourselves when we're doing YouTube creation. We hear it all the time, the algorithm, what you say and how you say it, which is more important. Well, I think it's both, and I think that was the conclusion they both said, was how you say it, what you say. You have content you want to get out, but it's how you connect with your audience that's so important. When you're going to give a public speech, you have to slow down your nerves, which is breathing, still breathing, slow. You got to get rid of that adrenaline rush that you've got, because you get anxious, and then that causes you to forget what you're doing. So they say do jumping jacks, or the one guy was from Australia, and he said they don't call them jumping jacks, they're star jumps or something like that. I thought that was funny, and actually that makes more sense. I don't know where jumping jacks ever came from, but star jumps. And stop thinking about yourself when you're going to do a talk, because you really limit yourself when you're thinking about everything you want to say. Start thinking about what the audience needs from you, because then you clear your mind and you have the focus isn't about you. It's about what you want to tell your audience. And just by me saying that, I felt a slight release, like, you're right. Do I need to get through all my notes? Can I just tell them what I've learned? Yeah, I can, and it's probably wiser that I do. So focus on what your audience is wanting and needing, and not what or how you're going to say it. To be present, because when you're present, you don't lock yourself into a guide. You don't lock yourself into having to touch on every base. Get a feel for the room. Get a feel for your community. And if you know what their anticipation of what you are going to present is, then you'll have a more free-flowing conversation with the camera, because the camera isn't the camera, it's your community. I know I have become friends with many creators on YouTube. This is a great example, is Artfully Becoming, Susan. Susan, I think, had to give a speech at school last week, and she said since becoming a YouTube content creator, she just felt so comfortable being on stage and giving her talk to the parents. It just seemed so natural for her. And she said she really gives herself credit due to her YouTube experience. And that's feeling the room, feeling not tied into making sure she gets bullet points across. She just felt really comfortable, and I was very excited for her and very proud that she recognized that. Being a confident communicator with behaviors can happen when you practice. And that's what many of us are doing every day when we make short films, when we make long films. We're not just learning to talk to the camera, but we're learning how to edit things. We're learning how to do lives. There's so much to learn. But being a confident communicator is so important, and that is what I took away from this podcast, and I hope some of this can resonate with you. But the podcast, once again, I'll try to put it in my show notes if I can figure that out. You know me, takes me a while to figure things out, but it's On Purpose with Jay Sheddy, and it's fabulous, and I have to finish watching it. I just didn't want to wait. And I'm actually in the car traveling. I am in just outside of Knoxville, Tennessee right now, and that's why we're bumping around here and whatnot. So I'll be seeing more of you guys later. Have a great day, and don't give up, because I'm not giving up.